I'm not going to tell you that every model is perfect.
They're
but
not
right
perfect.
now, sure, but right now we're like standing in traffic with our eyes closed saying the car hasn't hit me yet, so I don't think there's any coming.
Jordan is obviously, let's say, suspect about climate change, the arguments behind climate change, and the policies that the people pushing the climate change agenda actually have. Take a look.
I'm talking about the record temperatures that have been declared for like the past 5 years that have also increased with the concentration of parts per million of carbon dioxide in the atmosphere. I mean, I'm not going to tell you that every model is perfect.
They're
but
not
right
perfect.
now, sure, but right now we're like standing in traffic with our eyes closed saying the car hasn't hit me yet, so I don't think there's any coming. I think it's pretty undeniable at this point that there is an impact on climate across the planet. I
think that's highly deniable. We have no idea what the impact is from. We don't know where the carbon dioxide is from. We can't measure the warming of the oceans. We have terrible temperature records going back 100 years. Almost all the terrestrial temperature detection sites were first put outside urban areas, and then then you have to correct. Then you have to correct for the movement of the urban areas, and then you introduce an error parameter that's larger than the purported increase in temperature that you're planning to measure. This isn't data. This is guess. And there's something weird underneath it. There's something weird that isn't oriented well towards human beings underneath it. It has this guise of compassion. Oh, we're going to save the poor in the future. It's like that's what the bloody communists said. And they killed a lot of people doing it. And we're walking down that same road now, with this insistence that, we're so compassionate that we care about the poor 100 years from now. And if we have to wipe out several 100 million of them now, well, that's a small price to pay for the future utopia. And we've heard that sort of thing before. And the alternative to that is to stop having global level elites plot out a utopian future, or even an anti-dystopian future. And that's exactly what's happening now with organizations like the WEF.
Okay, so we're going to show you a couple other clips of this. Now, obviously, I tend to lean more on the Jordan side of this. It's like these people who haven't been able to solve many problems, only if we would give them more control of our lives, only if we would eat certain things, only if we would drive less and fly less and all of these things, could then they fix the world. And it's like, what sits beneath that? That's why he's making that connection to communism, right? People, humans are always the problem in these utopian desires, right? These utopian systems of control. So they went a little further on that, and Jordan started talking about how climate activists actually, through using compassionate responsibility, they enact something quite horrible.
The problem is, once you conjure up a climate apocalypse and you make the case that there's an impending disaster that's delayed, and you might say, well, delayed how long? And the response would be, well, we're not sure, but it's likely to occur in the next 100 or so years, which is pretty inaccurate. You now have a universal get out of jail card that can be utilized extremely well by power-mad psychopaths. And they will absolutely do that, because power-mad psychopaths use whatever they can to further their cause.
The point of it is that this is the road to hell they drag us down. Oh, in 100 years, something might happen. Give up your control of your life one way or another. We need more of your tax money for our Green New Deal, et cetera, right? We've seen this over and over again.